업앤다운 매치.
전대회 우승자 정종현의 충격 탈락, 역대 우승자 준우승자들의 이어진 패배, 대혼돈의 코드 S. 황강호, 김영진, 양준식 화려하게 GSL 데뷔를 치른 신예들의 고공행진, 대환란의 코드 A. 역대 최고의 선수들이 집결한 별들의 전쟁, 업앤다운 매치. 2011년 3월 11일 그들에게 닥친 운명의 결정. 이제 주사위는 던져졌다. 지키려는 자의 집념,
이때가 선수와 유명한 선수가 승격 분명자
빼앗으려는 자의 투지. 지상 최고의 결전이 펼쳐진 업앤다운 매치. 24명 GSL 리거들의 운명을 건 혈투가 지금 시작됩니다.
Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the GSL Up and Down matches on Tasteless. With me is Artosis, and I gotta say, I never expect to see the players that we have today here in the Up and Down matches. Not just for today, the entire setup. Champions of previous GSLs now might not even stay in Codes.
It is wild, Tasteless, but we have some really great groups today. Liquid Huck is playing.
Yes.
I'm so stoked. We need another foreigner in that Codes now that Idra's gone.
Yeah, I'm sure we got a lot more viewers today than normal. A lot of people cheering for Huck. If Huck does make it into Codes, then we'll have two non-Koreans in Codes. The other one, of course, being Liquid Jinro. Look, I think this is going to be pretty sick. And I think if there's somebody who can make it through this group, it's going to be Huck.
Yeah, I think that Huck definitely has a good shot going in here. He has great PvP practice partners. I mean, obviously he has Tyler on Team Liquid. He has MC in the house. We saw what MC did to Hongan. We saw what MC did to San. And just having MC's replay pack, Huck could literally write down the builds, and likely he's going to get through this group.
I think it's quite possible that's going to be the case here today. The other two players are going to be InCa and Choya. Now, InCa, I think he was most well-known during Season 1. Had some pretty sexy
for PvP.
Rushes. For PvP especially.
This guy has played more PvPs in the GSL than anyone except MC, I believe.
I think that's correct.
He has played a lot of PvP, so a lot of it was a long time ago, but he's always shown...
Well, he was always showing that he really understood the matchup before other people. And, InCa is definitely somebody who I think over Choya has a higher chance of getting out too. Now, Choya is good. I don't know if Choya necessarily shines in Protoss versus Protoss, but he has had a lot of success here in GSL. I think making it to Final 8 before. And the only thing about Choya is he sort of has this little bit of a rough around the corners play style. Not the cleanest, not the most proper.
Yeah, if I had to choose someone to go down, both via who I think is going to be better and who I just want to go down, I would say Choya.
Yeah. And that's not to say that Choya isn't good. Choya is very good. It's just that
he's done well, but as you said, it's like a rough player to watch. You watch and you're like, ugh, you get the job done, man. But
he'll say
it's like a screw. You're supposed to screw a screw into the wall, right?
Yeah.
But he takes a mallet for bashing rice and just hits it into the wall.
Wow.
That's Choya.
That's Choya. Let's go ahead and take a look at the match results. Match format, excuse me. Code S, third place, versus the Code A best player in a best of 3. Now the winner goes to Code S. The loser of that trickles down, as you can see in this format. So, InCa and Huck, they each get 2 shots. Choya only gets 1.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we would have to say Choya is the most likely to not make it through. He just has less chances. Yeah.
Well, 1 out of Huck and InCa 100% is getting through Tasteless. But whoever loses the Huck InCa match is going to already have shown some very important PvPs.
Now let's take a look at the up and down match groups. As you can see, we have our 3 Protoss players, InCa, Huck, and Choya, and then the next group is going to be Linak, Boyu, Nesty, and Marine King. And whoa,
what a sick,
my God,
sick group that is.
I cannot believe that's actually a group that we're going to commentate.
I know. It looks like just a straight-up hard Code S group, like the Code S group of death.
Yeah.
But here it is in the up and down match.
It's like that could be like Code S, like a Final 4, and instead it's It's just going to be one of our many groups here for the up and down matches. Again, I don't know if in history we're ever going to have up and down matches that are going to be this good. You never know what to expect, though. The next group is going to be Virus, Fruit Dealer, and Ace. Another group where
that's a deadly group.
really don't know who's going to get through. Fruit Dealer should be the favorite if you base it off results. But then again, Ace has really shown since IEM that he's pretty damn good.
But he fell out of Code in that first round. Luckily, he takes Hydra's spot there in the up and down.
Finally, and this is kind of the group that makes me sad because one of these three guys is not going to go on. We had Songho using the ID Killer, Zenio, and of course Slayer's Boxer. And I think out of the people in that group, Slayer's Boxer is the least likely to get out, unfortunately.
It's definitely a possibility that he'll fall down, Tasteless. Well, Group E, Slayers, Alicia, MVP, and Genius. What a sick, nasty group. The BlizzCon champion, the great Game Genie champion, the champion of GSL, and Slayers Alicia, my biggest man crush.
Yes,
in the Protoss world.
You guys should hear how much Artosis talks.
I actually just talk about
not on camera.
I do. No, I'm studying this guy. He's so great.
And of course, Group F, Rain, Top, and Hyperdub. That's going to be a pretty crazy TBT group. Rain might have a tough time considering his results from previous tournaments here. Finally, on our last stage, day 4, we're going to have OGS Supernova, Colt, and the best. I think that's a pretty
Supernova is going to crush out of that.
You think so?
Tasteless. Supernova is actually one of the best Terrans in the world, no doubt about it. By Sarah was his ID in StarCraft 1. Great player. I cannot see him falling to both those two guys in that group with him.
And now down to Group H, Lacira, Bonbon Zenith, and Rainbow.
Wow. That would be crazy. You know what? Both of our players have been to 2 finals so far. Rainbow, or 2 top 4s. Rainbow and Marine King are both getting just 1 shot to stay in.
I know.
After being just so successful.
It's so amazing to see not just how, we've seen the shift of who's a good StarCraft 1 player to who's a good StarCraft 2 player, but also to see who was a good StarCraft 2 player near the beta, first 2 seasons of GSL, who was on top then, and then now who stayed on top and who's emerged as a better player.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
It is.
That's the truth. I would never lie to you.
Truth,
I would never lie to you, Artosis.
But on to today's first match, Tasteless.
Yes.
Huck. We want you guys to show your support for Huck. We're supporting him. I hope you're supporting him. TeamLiquid.net. I'm sure y'all going crazy talking about Huck. Keep doing it. Talk about him on Reddit. Get on Twitter. Hashtag the GSL. Today is the day. Let's get Huck trending.
If you're
hashtag the GSL, say Huck in that. Talk to me, Tasteless.
Hashtag GSL. Call me Tasteless. He's at Artosis. We want as many people as possible discovering the GSL, and Twitter is one of the easiest ways to do that. By the way, Twitter is so cool. Such a great program.
Social
if you don't actually use it, at first people don't get it. They're like, well, what is this? How do I use it? But once you figure it out, you don't even have to actually post stuff. You can just follow people.
Absolutely, man. That's how I get a lot of my news.
Please do that. By the way, special thanks to Intel, G-Skill, and Coca-Cola for sponsoring us and making this event possible. We love you guys, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Please spread the word. So, in a little bit here, we're going to take a look at these two guys. PvP, generally, if we want to give kind of a backbone, a stump of what the builds are before it branches out into all these different directions, it tends to be centered on 4 warp gate rushing.
Yeah.
You have to sort of
that has definitely been the dominant build in PvP for quite some time. But right now, the way I see it kind of a rock, paper, scissors, Blink Stalkers, I keep saying. Blink Stalker's kind of like this outside build that kind of looking in, it can beat all the builds, but it's like kind of a weird...
It's kind of hard to get to, and then once you get it, you got to be really good at controlling
It's fancy,
stuff.
You have to trick your opponent a little bit. But
let's take a look at our players now.
It's a pretty crazy match.
Oh, look at Huck.
Oh, look at that smile. What a handsome guy.
Oh, my goodness gracious sakes alive.
He is a great player hailing from Canada, and TeamLiquid.net, sponsored by the Little App Factory.
I got to say,
it is Huck.
It's Huck.
And we all
he's
love
a charming guy. He's actually pretty funny.
I love hanging out with that guy, man.
He's actually funny enough to roll with Tasteless.
I know
and if you're not funny, man, sorry, dude.
No, you don't get to do that.
But he's pretty funny. Good guy to go out and get some drinks with for sure. And he is, somebody who's competitive in StarCraft 1, not pro gamer level. And even for the North American scene, not pro gamer level. Now, he's come quite a ways.
Oh,
he's now ready to be pro gamer level in Korea, and of course, Korea is the mecca of esports.
And he is. He's one of the highest-ranked players on the ladder. Very, very strong Protoss, as we've seen.
His rank is so high, I could just see Dustin Browder on the phone. You're like, shut the ladders down. His points are too high. The servers can't handle it. All right, over here to OGS InCa. Now, this guy, I think out of all the people that we could talk about with a unique style in Protoss with Protoss, this is the #1 person.
Yeah, InCa has shown so much creativity, so many great builds in PvP. I'm really looking forward to what he does here, especially considering these two are practice partners, OGS and Liquid. They're such friendly teams. They live together. I mean, they practice together all the time.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of mind games behind the scenes, I think. Both these guys probably looking through the OGS MC replay pack of his PvPs. It's going to be hard for them each to choose builds here.
I think this is going to be one of those matchups with these two players specifically where it's going to be a lot more about unit control than anything else. Because I'm sure, I mean, when you practice StarCraft with the same group of people all the time, it's obviously mind games as well, but micro is going to be so important. These guys both have such great control. You know, Huck and PDZ is known for mashing up a lot of warp gates using Blink and Force Field in the middle of the map, and he's very good at it.
Yeah, he certainly is.
At the same time, InCa, you know, he's shown great control with Void Rays, Stalker control in general. He's just good.
That's a picture of Choya in InCa's
There's
spot.
Choya for some reason.
InCa's like, I don't look like that. No, you don't.
InCa snuck in here disguised as Choya.
There we
pull
go.
off the mask.
Choya.
Mission Impossible style. All right, here's Choya. Now, Choya, of course.
Choya is Morph from the X-Men.
Morph. You not seen an X-Men where, what is it, Wolverine climbs up the Sentinel and cuts his head off? He's like, Morph.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a classic scene.
I had to bring it back. Great cartoon. Now, Choya, he is generally, there's a difference between somebody who has kind of a unique, sneaky style like Seed,
Yeah.
and then somebody like Choya. Choya's
Yeah,
a little
I know.
bit scrappier. It's a little bit like Choya. You know, you can win with that, but it's pretty dangerous what you're doing.
Choya is the type of guy who, as a child, shoved the block through the round hole.
Wow. That's an interesting way
I'm
to
just
put
going to
Artosis.
leave it at that, Tasteless.
You know, Choya's the kind of guy that, like, if he was willing to battle, it'd be like somebody throws a grenade at him, and he actually picks the grenade up and throws it back before it blows up. That's
right.
Choya.
Or he kicks it as it comes, like breaks his foot bone. Why don't you let it land and just throw it back? He's like, no! I fight like this.
His unique style is, you know, it's one of these things where it's just very hard to, even if you know what he's doing, he'll do this kind of style where it's sort of like a lopsided economy. You know, for instance, two basing, then cutting probes, then massing up at like 180 supply, then pushing out. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Or the way
I know very well.
unique 4 warp gate rushes.
I know everything about Choya.
You do?
Yeah.
We are going to get this going pretty soon here. Let's take a shot of our players in the studio now. As you can see, we have some new booths here.
There he is.
There he is, the
man of
amulet.
the hour.
The Kaider and amulet is in his booth at the bottom right. That is Liquid Huck.
Make sure that you guys are talking about him on the forums, on Facebook, on Twitter.
On
Hashtag
Twitter.
the GSL. We want to
Mostly
trend
on
Huck.
Twitter. Artosis, you don't need to tell people to talk about it on Team Liquid and Reddit. You need to talk to them, tell them to talk about it on
I
Twitter
want to
because
talk about everywhere.
we need to spread the word, guys. Now, again, there's not as much pressure in this first round for these two because they have a second chance. But
Yes.
ideally, you want to get out now.
Now,
Scott
I
Free.
do want to point out this one thing. I feel like it needs to be pointed out. Of course, StarCraft 1 players have been the most successful at the top levels in StarCraft 2. And Choya is the only ex-StarCraft 1 pro gamer in this group. So, yeah, there's not a lot of pressure because they do get a second shot. But even though I feel like I like both these guys and their play styles more than Choya's, he was a StarCraft 1 pro, man. That guy knows how to play some StarCraft. So both these guys definitely going to want to knock the other one down, even though they're quite good friends.
Yep. A lot of pressure here. InCa also just a very friendly guy. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to get out of this group. Honestly, I don't really know who's the favorite here, though. You know,
Between these two, it's very hard to say,
tough.
Tasteless.
They're evenly matched in skill. Their teammates, which makes it even more difficult to call. So head-to-head, Huck against InCa. One of these players is going to get through. You can see Huck getting in the zone right now. And, man, I'm really excited. Getting all wiggly.
Man, I am so pumped for Huck. Of course, here's the thing. I really like InCa as well. He's actually such a cool Protoss. He's got,
Yeah,
he
For me, he's one of the more fun people to commentate because
he's not overly stylistic, but he's got flair.
Yeah.
And I like that type of player.
Well, it's not like bit-by-bit primer. I'm like, well, actually what he does is he takes all his SCVs and units and attacks you.
He's not like Marine King
InCa will do some kind of, Marine King style also much more defined, easy to identify. InCa, will mix it up every once in a while. And the countdown started. So let's see who's going to win this. Our first map will be Shakuras Plateau. Head-to-head, Huck against InCa, casted by Tasteless and Artosis. Tastosis, you're at the GSL. Let's get ready for some awesome PvP stuff. Action, not stuff. Stuff, terrible. So sorry. Cringed right when I said it.
Should
All
we
right,
end it now?
Let's get this going. It's on in the red at the bottom left. Cross spots our player representing the North American scene. Liquid Huck. And there he is now. A lot of pressure in this best of 3. Over here to the upper right, our player. InCa. Very solid. One of my favorite Protosses to watch. And those headsets do change color based off of the X per minute. Oh! GSL love. It's merging together like an Archon Artosis. A little hard.
Yeah, it is. Archon paper. That's what we're going to have to write all our letters on from now on. I write half the letter, you write half the letter, we put it together.
Makes a full letter.
It's about like totally different things. I'm like, oh, Jesus, why are you writing about Angry Birds again?
Soon I will be an Angry Birds pro gamer.
Yeah.
If this whole casting thing doesn't work out.
Well, Tasteless looking for some proxies there. You always got to check for proxies in PvP. Just be careful. So far, identical builds, of course. PvP builds are generally pretty identical up until the Cybernetics core is about 75% done. Then things can start to change.
Yeah, we don't see double warp gate like we do in StarCraft 1 in this matchup. Although, frankly, double gateway in StarCraft 1. I never really thought it was actually a very good build in StarCraft 1. It's always better to just get gas. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just checking on when does the player cut probes. You can cut probes at 19 and do a warp gate rush.
Keep your eye on chrono boost, on how many gateways they get, what they're chrono boosting, when they get their second gas, how many gateways they get at what times. These are the informations that you're going to want to get before a stalker is out to kill your scouting probe. Both players getting a Zealot. Huck's Zealot just slightly quicker. Huck takes the lead.
He's so good. By the way, Jared from Pure Ponage wrote me on Facebook. He is rooting for Huck right now.
Yeah.
Pure Ponage, great show. I know many of you nerds out there, if you're watching the English stream, you're probably rooting for Huck right now. Now, it's interesting to note that InCa did opt to chrono boost out the Stalker, which means his warp grade upgrade is going to be a little bit later. And actually, interestingly enough, Huck not chrono boosting the Cybernetics core.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He does have 2 chronos saved up right now. And as the probe gets chased out, InCa does get a second gas very, very quickly. Huck, I think, is going to just go ahead and do the 4 warp gate.
He should have. Yep, there it is, 4 warp gate rush.
He's going for it, Tasteless. It's time, Tasteless.
Can you check Huck's probes? Is it at
Of course
19?
I can.
Oh,
he's
20.
at 20.
Right.
Yep. Good number to be at. Going to stop probe production for now.
All right. This is an important moment here. This engagement in the middle. A lot of it's down to who has some more stock range.
And InCa has definitely out-microed Huck here by quite a bit, and the probe goes down. The 4 warp gate rush is going to be really hurting from here, Tasteless.
It looks like in InCa's base, I just want to point out he is not getting 4 warp gates. He's getting 3.
Yep.
So he was pretty confident in his micro in the middle of the map here.
But, Huck's actually in some trouble right now. He didn't make all those probes, and he's going 4 warp gates. He lost a Stalker without killing anything, except for a Zealot, which, you want the Stalkers more than Zealots. And just things are looking very, very good for InCa right now, who is getting a robotics facility to go with his 3 gateways. And robotics facility is the perfect counter to 4 warp gate.
Yep.
And right now,
they can't get there, yeah.
sorry, Taste, I just have so much to say. InCa looks like he wants to perhaps.
I'm actually startled by this.
Yeah.
I don't understand why would you rush in this situation?
Is he maybe just faking it? Maybe just like checking?
You know what?
Yeah.
That might actually. Okay, that's a good observation.
Yeah, he sees the 4 gates then.
He's actually probably faking this forward gate rush.
Now, here is the thing. Ooh. All right. Huck getting a Twilight Council, as you see. Now, the probe count is 28 for InCa, 21 for Huck. So InCa actually has the better end of tech and the better end of probes. So as long as he doesn't lose those 2 stalkers right there, which looks like he won't, he should be able to hold this rush off without any real problem. And he's definitely going to gain the lead here, Tasteless.
Does he have a pylon at his ramp? He doesn't. That's actually pretty bad by Huck. I mean, InCa, excuse me. It's really going to have pylon at the ramp because if the rush does start, you want your stalkers and sentries to get to the ramp right away. Now he's going to chrono boost that blink. I think this is probably the best move that Huck can do, considering his forward gate rush failed, is to just kind of tech into, having a lot of strong stalkers. And, Huck does have very good unit control, very good micro.
Now, the tricky thing is going to be, though, Tasteless, he's going for the blink, which is nice, but when your opponent goes Colossus against this, obviously Colossus-based armies with some gateway units are going to beat just gateway-based units. So it's going to come down a lot to, are you going to run around your opponent, Huck, or what? I mean, are you going to go ahead and make a Nexus and just try to overwhelm him? It can be quite dangerous. The robotics player can actually control the flow of the game by just sitting there and get his expansion very carefully, massing Colossi, and just moving out with an unbeatable force.
Oh, the few shots that are going to be... Oh, very nice.
Oh, nice.
Blocking the entrance. That was actually very good.
Well, here's the thing. InCa has a blink-killing army up there, a bunch of Zealots, a couple sentries for Guardian Shields, and Immortals. And I don't even want to tell you how quick that would kill a group of blinking Stalkers.
Well, tell that to Huck because he's trying to go up there right now.
Well, that's the beauty of Blink Stalker. You can go up there, harass a little bit, and blink away before you lose real hit points, but with 2 Immortals, that's not something you can do. They're just going to start crushing the Stalkers down. But Huck is making an expansion, as we see.
I don't think Huck will actually get a Robo Bay for a while here. He's going to want to try to get this expansion up. And nice blink control. Did lose 1 Stalker there.
Yeah, he's got to be very careful at this. There is right now a 4th gate for InCa, as well as Colossus coming. So it looks like InCa just wants to go ahead and 1 base, attack Huck, and see if he can kill him.
You got to be very careful when you're against if you're going blink and your opponent got Immortals out, because the attack animation for Immortals is instantaneous. Once it's shot, that hits the Stalker, unlike a Stalker's shot, which has to connect with the unit animation.
Now, this army is moving out. The supply right now is 64 for Huck, 72 for InCa. InCa's army definitely does beat Huck's. Huck has to be very, very careful about this. The fact that he's running away is going to make InCa feel very confident here.
Did he actually have Thermal Lance on that?
No, he does not
Okay,
have
there was some weird shot there. It looked like it had more range than it actually did. Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't think that Huck can stop this. This all goes back to that 1 probe that was killed during the 4 warp gate rush. And you can see he's going to try to get a flank here.
A lot of this will come down to the micro. Will he accidentally lose that Colossus in a bad way?
In a bad way, not in a good way?
Well, if you lose it killing all his stuff, that's fine. That's a pretty good way, I guess. And this is going to get really scary for Huck really, really quick.
Okay, he's got to back up for sure. And this will trigger InCa to attack.
And here come the Zealots. Good force fields. Huck targeting down the Colossus. And he does walk it out of there. It goes down, but with these additional Immortals, that is going to do sick damage to all of the Stalkers of Huck.
The Zealots are here. He just wants to control this high ground area.
Yep.
Nice force
Good force field by Huck right there.
I like it how he's warping in a Stalker, excuse me. No, it's Zealot actually on the high ground.
Zealots on the high ground should have been warped down the low, but here's the thing. Those 2 Immortals, Tasteless, they are just worth their weight in gold here. They are crushing down these Stalkers, and it looks like Huck is going to be taking out GG. InCa takes down game number 1.
I got to say, Huck's control is very good. It's just the raw numbers of the units and the combination, which is much healthier, much more balanced, coming from InCa. I mean, that just won the game for him. But let's not lose track of what really happened in that game. It was really actually the 1 Zealot and 1 Stalker against the 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, and the probe was killed. And if you're 4 warp gate rushing and you lose that probe, well, I mean, you're no longer going to be able to full warp gate rush.
Yes, that's what it comes down to.
It's that simple. Yeah.
Huck did get out microed in the middle. Also, he just ran away with his stalkers, and that's the decision you have to make. Do you try to counterattack with the stalkers, or do you try to run away? And I don't know. I kind of lean towards the counterattack. It just it slows them down. They run back in. You get a few kills, then you blink out of the main. And I would have liked to see that from Huck, but that Curse is a hard map for that. There's not a lot of area for you to go hide in.
I think what you're saying is the best solution from what we've seen from MC is if you go for stalkers with blink, your opponent's going to have a stronger army, but what do you have? You have mobility.
Yeah.
It's like having Mutalisks. You might not be able to defend if they're attacked, but you know what you can do? You can just avoid their army, go into their main, and kill probes, and then that gets for an interesting situation because then suddenly, first of all, you're going to kill their workers before they're going to get into your base, which means they're going to have a little bit of a timing advantage.
It's scary to do a base trade against that, basically.
Yeah. Especially, with Blink. It's such a mobile army. So we're going to go on to game number 2 here. But, I mean, if I had to draw some kind of conclusion from that game, I would say what you want to do is counterattack with Blink.
Yeah,
Blink
this
in,
is
Blink
why
out.
Blink is kind of on the outside looking in. It's this weird build. You really have to do a lot of tricky maneuvers with it. It's not fully discovered the power of the Blink Stalker yet.
Game number 2. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run over you there. Game number 2. Tal'Darim Altar is going to be our map, one of our new maps. It's a big map. So you could still see 4 warp gate rushes because Protoss do have warp gates. But again, before we get this going any further, get on Twitter, #GSL, and the word Huck. Do it. I'm talking to you, persons listening. I have cameras in your house. I know if you do it. No, I don't. No, I don't.